War is waged with gods of steel and fire in the dark shadows of the far future, not with conventional weapons like chainswords and bolt guns. Among the most amazing machines on the scene of Warhammer 40,000 are Titans of Valhalla. Among the most amazing machines in the game, they are towering above the battlefield like walking cathedrals of dread. These giants are artifacts of a past, rather than just war machines. Their drive comes from outdated technology, and their control comes from warriors schooled from birth to master their machine's souls. Seeing a single march is like witnessing the expression of the Emperor's wrath. Is one anything one may object against? To achieve this is suicide. Titans are symbols of power, revered by the Adeptus Mechanicus, and dreaded by everyone who dares to challenge the Imperium. They are not only war machines. Titans are considered as strong enemies. From the agile warhound to the city-crushing Imperator, each of the numerous types of Titans has a particular purpose on the battlefield. Still, how do they stand next to one another? What sets everyone from the others? The Xenos races, bringing their own god machines to the battlefield, have what effects on the ruinous powers? Warhammer CTA. Before we continue with the video and my further explanation about the lore Warhammer 40K legions, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 5,000 subs before the grim darkness future starts, so I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help me out, and let's win this battle together. Okay, let's continue. We will explore the soaring colossi of Warhammer 40K in great detail, breaking out every Titan kind. This is true because size obviously counts in a galaxy where conflict is always present. Thin Hunters, another name for Scout Titans. Not the only kind of Titan are behemoths the size of cities and those that rock the planet with each step. Some are meant to be fast, able for reconnaissance, and able of exact strikes. The smallest of the Imperial Titans, the Warhound, Titan is about to meet you, but its scale should not fool you. Still a multi-story death machine, it is covered by void shields and loaded with quite deadly weapons. Unlike its bigger cousins, the Warhound is meant to be mobile and can rapidly cross the battlefield to hunt down enemy armor, disturb enemy lines, or harass bigger war machines. Like a predatory beast, it is somewhat normal for it to operate in packs and uses speed and flanking motions to destroy enemies that would be absolutely insurmountable in a frontal confrontation. Its weapon loadout is mostly composed of plasma blast guns or twin turbo laser destructors, which helps it to perform remarkably better than its weight class. Conversely, the Warhound is somewhat delicate when compared to Titans, even if it is fast. Direct strikes from heavy weapons, especially those mounted on opponent super heavy tanks or warlords, have the quick power to destroy it. Its void shields are more vulnerable to be overcome than those of bigger Titans. Warhounds thus depend on speed and secrecy, as well as on metropolitan areas or rough terrain to finish their tasks. Crucially important for Titan legions, Warhounds act as scouts, ambushers, and skirmishers. Still, occasionally their significance is subordinated to that of bigger Titans. Without them, information on the battlefield would suffer, and the war engine of the realm's agility would be seriously damaged. Whereas, in a conflict when raw force is needed, the Reaver-class Titans then enter the picture at this point. Battle Titans of the legions are their most valuable tool. Comparatively to the Hunter Warhound, the Reaver Titan is a juggernaut. Since it is bigger, stronger, and far more heavily equipped than regular Reavers, the Reaver is the workhorse of the Titan legions. Approaching 26 meters in height, it is meant to strike the perfect mix of speed and firepower. Though it lacks the same degree of terrible strength as the Warlord Titan, its adaptability and flexibility on the battlefield helps to offset this weakness. One of the Reaver's unique qualities is its adaptability to fulfill several tasks on the battlefield. Equipped with a volcano cannon or a turbo laser destructor, it can be armed for long-range operations to destroy enemy armor and fortifications. Both of these weapons may wipe out rival armor. Alternatively, it can be fashioned into a savage monster, engaged in close battle, armed with a massive power fist, capable of destroying whole squadrons of tanks with one strike or tearing through opposing Titans. Thanks to its Apocalypse missile launcher, which rests atop its carapace, it can rain destruction from a distance while closing in for the kill. Reavers are often sent in groups of 3 on the battlefield, working with warhounds and warlords to create a very lethal combined arms maneuver. Apart from their quick self-adjustability, they are strong enough to resist protracted punishment. This makes them best suited for leading spearhead strikes, breaching enemy lines, and involving other heavy war vehicles in direct conflict. Reavers still fall short, though, when it comes against the real war giants. Though they are strong, they lack the overwhelming resilience and firepower needed to challenge the Titans from following class. This is thus because the Empire brings in the Warlord Titans, the walking cathedrals of death, whenever it needs to turn the tide of combat with overwhelming force. Walking cathedrals of death are these Titans of the Warlord class? One cannot argue that the Warlord Titan is not the unquestionably monarch of the battlefield. This is a towering combat machine, able to quickly annihilate whole armies. Rising to a height of more than 33 meters, these giant engines of war are the most identifiable Titans in the arsenal of the Imperium. A warlord's enormous tread shakes vast battlefields, and his smaller enemies scatter in terror as he marches across them. Unlike the more specialized Warhound or Reaver, the Warlord Titan is built to be quite robust and to have an overwhelming volume of firepower. Usually the main weapon it uses are twin volcano cannons, which can readily melt through enemy Titans, protected bunkers, and even whole city blocks. Apart from these, a Warlord carries Apocalypse missile launchers, plasma annihilators, and Gatling blasters to make sure they never lack ways of defeating their enemies. Its remarkable power helps the Void Shields to resist attacks that would kill less competent warrior machines. But Warlords are unique in many ways than merely their physical strength. Their command presence is what really distinguishes them. Their main role in battle is to coordinate the activities of Warhounds and Reavers to produce a destructive symphony by acting as the nerve centers of Titan formations. They are the perfect base for any war effort since they can withstand lengthy enemy attacks and deliver terrible retaliation. Their very tenacity qualifies them as the best anchor. Naturally, having such power has some repercussions. Warlord Titans are rather slow when weighed against smaller Titans. Though their Void Shields are strong, concentrated gunfire from many enemy Titans, super heavy vehicles, or orbital strikes can bring them down. Their size and complexity make them quite rare. They are only utilized in the most critical confrontations, where their presence could fundamentally shift the path of the conflict. Conversely, even the most strong Warlord is not the highest point of Titan combat. When the Imperium needs the most manifestation of divine battle, when entire war zones must be flattened, and when gods of metal must walk, just one Titan class will be sufficient. The Emperor-class Titans, god machines of the Imperium, are this Titan class, emperors of the class, god's machines. Should the Warlord Titan be the unmatched commander of the battlefield, then the Emperor-class Titan is the very deity of war itself. The most potent and biggest Imperial battle machines built thus far are these Titans. Their towering over even warlords suggests that they are ancient gods of destruction. Towering over the battlefield at a height of more than 50 meters, these massive vehicles not only rule the terrain, but also take front stage there. Among the main variations of the Emperor class, the Warmonger Titan and the Imperator Titan are the 2 most often used ones. Both of these sites are walking castles, loaded with weapons capable of wiping off whole armies in a few minutes. The Imperator Titan is meant especially for use in siege warfare, since it is an unbeatable mobile bastion, able of carrying significant objectives and breaching enemy strongholds. Usually a plasma annihilator or Hellstream cannon, a single blast from its main armaments may obliterate entire companies of tanks or level hive spires. The Warmonger Titan is built for long-range destruction during this period. It is equipped with an excessive number of missile systems, turbo laser arrays, and defense turrets, therefore turning it into a walking artillery platform of catastrophic dimensions. These Titans, on the other hand, transcend mere battle vehicles. Apart from its Gothic architectural style, massive imperial aquilas, and crewed by hundreds of tech priests, servants, and Titan princeps, these cathedrals on legs are revered remnants of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Their deployment is an event of mythological relevance. Whole campaigns are launched just to get one to the battlefield. Considered as divine entities, their deployment is an event of mythological importance. Though they have great power, Emperor-class Titans are rather rare. Though they are massive, they are slow. Maintaining them is somewhat expensive. There are so few forged worlds that could build or preserve them, so their presence on the battlefield is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. But they are relentless as soon as they start their march, bringing divine wrath of the Emperor to the opponent. Not every Titan, on the other hand, stays loyal to the Imperium. The Chaos Titans come in handy here, since some have been corrupted by the Dark Gods and turned into blasphemy-full abominations. Chaos Titans, sometimes referred to as corrupted behemoths. Not every single Titan carries the name of the Emperor exactly. Others have given in to the utterances of chaos. Their once virtuous machine spirits have become hideous and obscene beasts. These Chaos Titans were once upon a time mighty gods machines of the Empire. But millennia of war, exposure to the warp, and the sneaky influence of the Dark Gods have turned them into nightmare perversations of their former selves. Unlike their Imperial counterparts, Chaos Titans have been corrupted, and their armor, which was once perfect, is now covered in spikes, chains, demonic faces, and real flesh. There is a great degree of corruption. Even the machine spirits of these people have been grabbed by demonic entities, turning them into something much more terrible than ordinary war machines. Some of them also incorporate biological elements as fanged maws, writhing tendrils, and weapons polluted with warp that feeds on the souls of those who have been killed. The fact that Chaos Titans come in a great range of forms and sizes reflects the several categories of their Imperial cousins. Though they keep their speed, Warhound Chaos Titans often carry mutant weapons, such warp plasma projectors or cannons contaminated with demons. The Reaver and Warlord Chaos Titans, whose hulls have been merged with living demonic entities, are even more horrific. Their capacity to replenish and unleash assaults grounded on warp comes from this design. Conversely, there are the Titans of the corrupted Emperor class, so massive and powerful that are worshipped as walking avatars of the Chaos Gods. The entire fabric of reality starts to twist in the direction of the Chaos Titans as they march. Still, these are not the only gods machines in the galaxy that are not Imperial. Other races have their own massive war engines, and some of them are equally as horrible as their counterparts in the Imperial and Chaos races. Xenos Titans and gargantuan war devices. Though they might rule the Titan game, there are other factions with towering war engines other than the Imperium and Chaos. Many Xenos races around the galaxy have evolved their own equivalents, each of which is built using a totally different method to the art of battle. A couple of them are truly terrible in the organic evil they contain. Others are simple but incredibly strong. Still, others are charming and graceful. The Eldari Phantom Titan is the reverse of an Imperial Titan for all intents and purposes. The Phantom is a towering, wraithbone construct driven by the ghosts of Eldari fighters who have been dead for a very long period, not a ponderous behemoth of steel. Using distorting cannons and pulsars that can phase through armor, it is able to escape opposing fire and move with an inhuman elegance, therefore totally avoiding void shields. Its smaller relative, the Revenant's Titan, is even faster and serves as a deadly hit-and-run weapon, able to outmaneuver practically everything on the battlefield. Following that is the Orc Gargant, a Titan in the most broad sense English terms allow. Gargants are massive horrors driven by sheer orky belief that seem to be created haphazardly. They are more of a walking fortification created from trash than of an engineered combat machine. When they do fire, though, their belches, super rockets, and liftadropas might wreak havoc entirely and totally. They are slow, have horrible aim, and usually come apart in the middle of the combat. Though it is a lesser variation of the Stompa is equally deadly in Orcish terms. Moreover, one should not ignore the Necron Eonics, Tyranid Bio-Titans, and other monstrosities that defy Imperial government's reasoning. But Titans can affect the 41st Millennium battlefields in a way only few other weapons can. This is so true independent of the wielders. Thoughts on final matters. Everywhere Titans are seen on the 41st Millennium battlefields, they are emblems of power, destruction, and faith, not only tools of war. Whether these godlike buildings march under the flags of the Imperium, the corrupting power of chaos, or the alien war machines of xenospecies, they define the fate of entire worlds. Every class has a different purpose in battle, guaranteeing that wars are fought on a really massive scale. This covers the nimble Warhound, as well as the Emperor-class Titans, able to destroy whole cities. Some are walking fortresses, some are exact hunters, some are absolute nightmares. That means they have been created from the vacuum or altered by chaos. One thing is known regardless of whose side a Titan supports. The ground shakes every time they march onto the battlefield. Whether you are running for your life or fighting beside one is the last question still to be answered.